This is my MS10. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This MS10 is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I master my life.
Oh, what have I done? I don't even know whether I'm going to be able to put this thing back together. But luckily, it's sort of easy. I actually took this all apart with one single screwdriver. I didn't need any other tools, and it's all in pieces. It kind of looks like the new MS20 kit, but this is 40 years old. 1978 the MS10 came out. It was made as the predecessor to the MS20, and it was also the slightly cheaper, simpler version of the MS20, because this one has only got one oscillator, one filter, one ADSR, and you know, it's just overall a lot simpler. However, I like this one more. Why, Sam? Well, I think this one sounds a bit more nasty. It sounds a bit more brutey, but that's only because I've only really ever played with MS20 Mark IIs, because that had a newly designed filter. This one's got the same as the Mark I MS20s, which actually has a chip inside there that is called the KORG 35, which is a filter in a load of gunk, so people can't get in there and steal the KORG 35 filter's design. I have no idea why they decided to chuck this idea out in the Mark II MS20, which you can't really tell the difference except for the sound is a little bit softer. But this one, I think, sounds amazing. I love the MS10 because I hardly ever use the other oscillator on an MS20, so why not just have an MS10? And, you know, there's less knobs to go wrong. So here we have the circuit board. As you can see, it's got all the potentiometers and rotary switches already on there. So you literally just screw it on to the actual, you know, panel. Ooh, lovely jubbly. So where do we start? Well, okay, so this bit is the VCO, the oscillator. It's all in this bit. So if you've got a problem with the oscillator, start prodding your fingers in this area and you'll be sorted. Down here, there's a couple of keyboard, circuitry and portamento and all that stuff, and we go over to this bit right here. All of that is all of the circuits that have to do with the envelope generator, the attack, the release, the decay. And I had a problem with my MS10 and I had to replace a chip, the top chip right here, because my release wasn't working. When I hit the note, it just stopped. I replaced that chip, it worked. This is all of the filter circuit, and this is where that KORG 35 little black blob is, and that is where the main, you know, circuitry for the actual filter lies. So that is a quick look at the circuit board. Looks lovely on the back, it's nice and green. Ooh, look at that. Look at the size of that capacitor. I have no idea what that capacitor is for, but it's massive, huge. This is actually just an aluminium piece of aluminium that seats all of the jack sockets for this part where you make it semi-modular, and this is just broken out into these little ribbon cables that plug into different parts of this circuit board right here. So there's nothing much going on here, and it's also got the power on that is also the volume. It's a little switch that literally just connects straight to the mains, so if that goes wrong you might get electrocuted. I don't know. Now we go over to this thing. This is the keyboard assembly, and what this is it's basically just a very fancy voltage divider, because there's one wire at this side and there's one wire at that side, and there's a resistor for each of the keys. So it goes resistor 1, which is the key, first key, and then it splits it all up into lots of little chunks of voltages, and you know, tells the core PCB thing what exactly is being played. And you know, it's just plastic, it's got loads of springs, and the way that it actually makes the contacts, don't actually know. The way it actually makes the contacts is this little bronze thing right there. There's a little silver shiny thing that pushes down onto a bare wire that's hidden inside this plastic assembly. And this same design is used throughout many keyboards, in organs, and you know, all of those kind of things where there's just one bare wire running along. So if you've got a keyboard problem, like it's not quite making the connection, there might be some corrosion on either these bare metal spring things or on the bare wire that is going between all of the keyboard. This is the next thing. So this is like the main bit, the bit that you would look at and be like, oh yeah, that's a Korg. So there's a nice screen print of the Korg logo and some writing saying, caution, to prevent electric shock, do not remove cover. No use of serviceable parts inside. Refer servicing to qualified service personnel. So yeah, this is just literally one bit of metal that's been bent one time for this little bit, then another time bent around again, and then bent for the back. It's really simple with just a load of holes in it. I love the paint job on this kind of era of Korgs. It's dark grey with light grey detailing. It's kind of like a battleship. It's so beautiful. What a beautiful piece of material possession. What are these, you say? Well, it's very hard to find these intact if you're a touring synthesizer user like myself, because I break these like nobody's business. My touring MS10, which is over there behind us, these are busted. These are more glue than they are plastic. And these are the side panels that hold everything and make it all strong and stuck together. So these screw on the side to kind of make it rigid and nice looking. But you know, sometimes people replace these with wood, and I think that might look a little tacky. I think people should replace them with metal, but that's just me. I think the wood doesn't really go with the look. It kind of makes it look like, you know, when people get Vauxhall Novas and put really big spinning disc alloy wheels on it? Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. This one has actually got the modulation wheel on it, and I could have unscrewed this, but I was being lazy. And this part comes off, and you've just got one potentiometer. It's got a little cable that goes over to this main board again. It's rather beautiful. Look at that. It hasn't even got springs, so you've got kind of like, yeah. Oh, what else have we got? Oh, we've got these. These are like gold dust. You know, original MS10, MS20 knobs. I think they're the nicest looking knobs. Oh dear. I think they're the nicest looking knobs that you could get, possibly. And then finally we get to the bottom piece, which is actually quite a hinge. This is like pretty solid, and this is just a base plate that's been bent a few times, and it's quite beautiful. Anyway, I best put this back together before I forget how to put it back together. So let's go. Win. Enough procrastination, Sam. Let's do this. Ah, it's like QVC channel. Ooh, look at that. You could buy this for only £5.50 a month for 100,000 years. These actual Korgs, when they were new, I only found them in dollars, were $350. In inflation terms, because I don't know how much dollars were in pounds and pounds were in dollars, that works out to be £2,000 in today's money, which I think is a pile of rubbish, and I think the currency was slightly different price to the pound back then. Does anybody know how much these were back in the day? I've just put the screws back onto this because the potentiometers just come through the holes, and the whole circuit board is held up by the potentiometers. Here's a bit of trivia for you. The Queen actually had a Korg MS10. True story. She still jams on it every so often. And she's like, oh, this is synth pop at its finest. That was my Queen impression, but I've never met her. I don't think anybody. Have you met Johnny?
No, I met Prince Charles though.
Well, when did you meet Prince Charles?
I did work experience at the radio station. He came in. He said he liked my skateboard.
Oh, I like your skateboard there, bro. This is quite cool. So the circuit board literally just attaches with a little push thing onto the main power adapter. However, I don't know whether that happens with all Korg MS10. Woo! Hey, look at that. I'm just going to double check that. Yeah, looks about right. You know, the great thing about the 1970s is it was a fine time because electronics started to become solid state and smaller. However, people were used to having big things, and when they were small, they were like, oh, that's a bit naff. So this was the time when all of the cases were still massive to, you know, make it look like there was loads of electronics going on there. But really, there was absolutely nothing in there because it's all solid state and tiny, and there's no valves. I think it's amazing because, you know, there's so much space for you to modify it if you want to put extra things in and service it. It was a fine time to be alive, even though I wasn't alive in the 70s or the 80s. Oh, so many bolts. Oh no. Uh-oh, I've lost a washer somewhere. Right, okay, so that's all connected back up there. We're done. Now it's time to put the ribbon cables, if you can look closely. I find where these ones go. That one doesn't go there. Luckily, they're all different sizes, so that means that they won't go in the wrong way on any way. So it's really simple to actually do this. Come on. I'm gonna start screwing this back together. But the problem is, without the side, it's all wobbly. So we've got to put the side back on. But before that, we need to actually connect the keyboard to the keyboard. Oh, I can't remember which one's the key. Oh, it's the one with the 3. These are surprisingly easy to put back on because you're just lining it up. Just to line it up is a bit of a pain. Oh, one more side. Fast forward. Look at that. We have got ourselves. Ooh, skin pinch. Yeah, well, it's not light, but okay, there we go. We have got ourselves a fully assembled KORG MS10, fresh from the grocery store. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like. So yeah, luckily it works. But yeah, this is just basically kind of showing you why I like the MS10 so much. It's lovely. Listen to that, that's a crazy ass filter. I mean, that's obviously the square wave kind of going into the filter, and then you've got like triangle wave. And no, that's sawtooth. Triangle wave. And a bit of noise. Oh, it's so nice. But anyway, I think it's really plucky, like. Lovely. But the thing is you can make it not musical and then musical really quickly after each other. So it's, I think it's just a really expressive synth, and maybe because I just know it so well, I don't know. But there's one little trick that I really like doing, and that's using this control panel over here to do the reverse out of the envelope generator into the pulse width modulation. It makes the bass sound absolutely angry as heck. And there's also, you could go down even another octave to what is on there if you twist that pitch down to about an octave down. And then you can get all Kill Bill on it. Oh no. Oh, it just sounds crazy. I love this machine. It's my favourite synth ever. And you can just sit and play it all day long like a guitar because it's just really expressive. That's the KORG MS10. I love it. So there we go, that's the MS10. This was the first backwards teardown video that I've done. So if there's any other teardown videos that you want me to do backwards, you know, like putting it back together, then let me know in the comments which machines I should be doing. Maybe look around my room and start there. But you know, let's get exotic. Why not? I've made a really long set of stems of this, of me playing loads of random stuff, and there's loads of samples in there and all that stuff, and I've put that up on my Patreon for you to do whatever you want with. So go and download that if you're interested, and yeah, please let me know if there's any other things that you want me to reverse tear down and have a chat about. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. I've been Look Mum No Computer, and don't be scared to try it. Woo!